Hi there. Welcome to Craft with Kathie. I have a quick little project just using one of our transfers that is actually on sale right now. If you look in the last chance category, you'll see it. I'll put the link to that in the first comment below. I hope everyone's had a good start to the week. We had a little sunshine here today, and I think we got up to about 38, 39 degrees, which was actually kind of nice. The sunshine made it really, really nice. Anyway, so this transfer is on sale. It's 8.5 by 11 inches, 8.5 by 11. There is a cut line, so you could break it apart and use the pieces separately. I'm going to use them together. I'm just going to take care not to put any ink over this cut line because it would, of course, go through it onto the shirt beneath it. And if it was too close to the wording, I'd probably put a piece of transfer tape there, but I think I'm fine without it. I am using an ink mat. This was 11 by 23 inches, and I've cut it down. It pretty much is the perfect size for our B-size transfers, which are the 8.5 by 11 inch. And this ink mat is adhesive, like our transfers, right? And I'm just taking the protective covering off of it, and then I'm going to insert it between the front layer of the shirt and the back. And the reason you do that is to act as a barrier so that in case your ink seeps through, you don't end up getting the image or anything on the back. Now, if you struggle with inserting your ink mat in a t-shirt or something, well, I'll just show you. I think this one's fine. I don't think I'd have a problem with it, but let me show you a little trick. Just turn it inside out and make sure you put it on the right side. The side with the label's the back. I don't want to put it on the label. I don't want to put it on the back. Let me just shake this out a little bit. I did not iron it. It does need to be pressed, but I figure when I heat set it, it'll get all the pressing it needs, because our ink, to be permanent, needs to be heat set. And one of the advantages of turning it inside out is you could actually see very easily where your seams are and get everything lined up a little bit easier. Just smoothing it out. Oh, I have a stir stick underneath. I could feel it. Okay, so this is the front of my shirt, and I'm just going to take the adhesive side of the ink mat and put it right on the front of the shirt. Then I'm going to turn this shirt right side out. So that makes it a little bit easier sometimes than trying to get it between the two layers of the shirt when it's so sticky. All I have to do is get it right side out, right? I'm coming at you from the suburbs west of Chicago. Drop me a line and let me know where you're viewing from this evening. This is an ink project as opposed to a chalk. You can use ink or chalk paste or our ink with our transfers. You can also use our etching cream, which will actually etch glass if you wanted to. Those are our three primary mediums to use with our stencils or our transfers, as we call them. So I'm going to just smooth this out. Then I'm going to take my transfer, and because I'm going on fabric, I am not going to fuzz it. I want it to stick as snugly as possible. Boy, did I create a little mess here. Okay, so there's really no need to fuzz the transfer in advance. We don't want to diminish the stickiness of our transfer. And if you're not familiar with our transfers, they're made out of vinyl, which is the teal, and silkscreen, and you're actually seeing through the silkscreen to the sheet beneath it where you see the white. Now this transfer's been around a bit. It's the first time I'm using it, but it's been as one of our staples for quite a while. And it is on sale right now, so if you want to snag it, grab it while you can, because once it's gone, it will be gone. So I'm making sure that I have this lined up properly. I don't want any air bubbles underneath it. I want to smooth it and make sure that I'm still on the mat. And I've got it centered. Okay, so that's easy enough to do. Now I'm going to use our white ink. And I just want to give this a stir because it's been a while since I used it. I want to make sure that it doesn't have to be thinned at all. Oh, this looks pretty good. So this is going to be a quick and easy project tonight. The one thing you want to make sure of when you're using ink, do not get it on your fingers. If you get it on your fingers, wash it off. You don't want to take any chance that you have ink on your fingers when you lift it or you rearrange your surface or whatever, because you don't want to smear or smudge the ink on your surface. So I'm just going to plop some of this on in both areas. I have to make sure I do not go over that cut line. So I'll be careful of that. And I'm using a small squeegee here and just going from top to bottom over my letters, and I will go over them a few times just to give the ink time to penetrate into the fabric a little bit, because it does need to be absorbed. I'll make sure I have everything covered nice. And then I want to basically smooth off or remove any excess. And then I could use it on the word blessed. I thought this transfer would be so pretty in white on this light pink t-shirt. And I think the message is pretty clear. In some ways, I think we need to think of our blessings and realize how blessed we can really be. Okay, so I'm just smoothing this over again, taking care. I've got my jar of ink in my left hand away from my surface. One time I dropped a jar, but fortunately it did not hit my shirt. So I'm just going over this a couple times again, just smoothing it over, removing any excess, putting my excess back into the jar, moving this over to the side. I want to do a quick finger check to make sure that I don't have any ink on my fingers. And now I'm going to lift this up. And as I lift it up, I'm going to look to make sure that I haven't been too light in an area. This transfer is a little bit, is it distressed there? You know what? Yeah, it is. The S and the Y have a little distressing on them. I had to think about it for a moment. So I want to hold this down, lift it up. Make sure I've got nice coverage here. This is distressed. It did get enough ink. It's just that the font is distressed. And look at how simple and quick that was. Finger check again. I want to make sure I don't have any smudges. Now I'm going to take this shirt and put it aside. Let it dry flat. I lifted that up a little bit from the thing. It's not going to hurt it, but why create more wrinkles, right? Let it dry flat, and then when it's dry, I will heat set it with my heat press. Now, you can use a heat press or you can use an iron. All you really do is, once this is not tacky and it's dry, you put a piece of parchment paper on top of it, check the composition of your fabric, look at your label and see what it's made out of, and then set your iron to the correct temperature for the fabric. Put a piece of parchment paper over it, and then iron it. Keep moving the iron when it's at the correct temperature. Do not use steam, and keep moving the iron for 4 minutes. If you are using a heat press, which you could use an iron if you do a lot, maybe you already have a heat press, or maybe you intend on doing a lot of shirts, then you use a heat press. Basically the same thing. Set it for the correct temperature for the fabric. Put a piece of parchment paper over it, and then press it, and it's like about a half a minute on the heat press. Once you've done the side that you've inked, turn it inside out and do the exact same thing on the inside. So the inside of the front, you'll put the parchment paper over it, heat press or iron it, and then that's it. And once you wash it, you can wash it and dry it as normal. and you won't actually feel it. It'll never crumble and peel up. It's there permanently. Now, how simple was that? How about a real quick project? So I need to clean my transfer. I'm going to run this over to the sink and hit it with the spray, get the ink off of it, and I'm done. Thank you for joining me. I know, seriously, 10-minute project, right? But can you really make a t-shirt, personalize a t-shirt in 10 minutes? Yes, you can. If you can butter toast, you can chalk or you can ink. Thanks for joining me tonight. I will see you soon.